The Kett are one of multiple new races being introduced in Mass Effect Andromeda, and if comments from BioWare are anything to judge by, they may be the most important of these new races. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing an in-depth analysis of the Kett. Let's start off with some basic information, and then we'll work our way into some more complex theory and speculation. The Kett have been framed as the main antagonists of Andromeda, but as will be discussed later in the video, this may not be entirely the case. The Kett were made to be more organic and rough as opposed to sleek and industrial like the Milky Way races. BioWare artists started with a bone carapace around the face, then expanded this into an outer bone armor that appears to be a part of their bodies. As a result of this bone armor, the Kett are extremely bulky and heavy. One Kett, called the Archon, has a bone collar piece that winds across the back of his head, and apparently a variation of this is present on all Kett. The Kett are foreboding but not ugly, with eyes that are pale, white, receded, and something the player can, quote, empathize with. Apparently, these empathetic eyes are brought out more for important Kett characters. It has also been stated that the Kett have brownish-green blood. Kett appearance, armor, and even building materials and structures are all organic-based. Kett architecture will be an important part of the game and is something the developers are extremely proud of. The Kett are very different from the races of the Milky Way, who in many ways act like humans. As an example, clothing isn't as big or as important a part of their culture, so in general, Kett do not wear much clothing. The Kett appear to have supernatural powers of some kind, as we see a Kett floating in mid-air during one of the trailers. Perhaps this is some form of telekinesis or their variant of biotics. The Kett are a militaristic race, in contrast to the protagonists who are not militaristic. There are three different types of Kett units. The Anointed and Destined are shielded units that appear to be more defensive in nature. This is speculation, but I believe the shields are actually a part of their body, like the bone armor. The Chosen are not protected by any shields, armors, or barriers, and appear to be more offensive in nature. The Archon is a member of the Kett race that appears to be the main antagonist of Andromeda. He pits himself directly against the Pathfinder team, and in one of the trailers tells them to either surrender or burn. It is indicated the Archon is highly intelligent and good at strategy. He also seems to have some sort of advanced power, possibly skilled in biotics or the Kett variant of biotics. Mac Walters has stated that the Archon has conflicts with his own people, meaning there's some amount of infighting and dissent among the Kett. BioWare has repeatedly stated that the Kett have a narrative that is important to the Andromeda storyline, and has emphasized that we will be able to empathize with the Kett and their narrative. This could be a hint that the Kett aren't the ultimate antagonists, and eventually the Milky Way races and the Kett will end up on the same side, fighting some sort of larger enemy, perhaps the Remnant. Many have likened the conflict between the Kett and the Milky Way races to the first contact war between the humans and Turians, in which peace was quickly brokered by the Citadel Council. The situation could be similar here, in which case the Kett would not remain antagonists for long. There is also the possibility that the Kett are part of some larger galactic federation, just like the Turians were, and our interaction with the Kett will introduce us to this federation. Another more likely reason for BioWare's emphasis on empathizing with the Kett is that we as protagonists are the invaders, while the Kett are simply defending their home. Similarly, the Reapers of the original trilogy were invaders, while the Milky Way races were forced to defend their homes against the Reapers. Not to mention, there is clearly something shady about the Andromeda Initiative, so who the protagonists and antagonists are in this game is not that clear-cut. If you want to learn more on why the Andromeda Initiative is shady, see Minius GC's video in the description below. There are many theories about the Kett, their origins, role in the story, and more. One interesting theory from a thematic perspective is the Kett-Prothean relation theory. This theory is certainly a bit of a stretch, so I encourage you all to treat it with skepticism. Credit for the theory goes to Lei Ham of Reddit. Looking at the Kett and Protheans, there appear to be some similarities between the two. In terms of body structure, the Kett somewhat resemble both the Protheans and the Collectors. We have also seen some Kett architecture that vaguely resembles some Prothean structures from their previous games. Also, recall that the Protheans were imperialistic and established a galactic empire, while the Kett are also somewhat imperialistic. In light of these similarities, the theory goes something like this. The Protheans were far more advanced than any other race during their peak, so what if before the Reaper invasion, some Protheans set off for the Andromeda Galaxy? There, they continued their scientific advances and eventually achieved a synthesis, in a sense, of body and machine, resulting in their current appearance. If you think about it, their armor, shields, and so on appear to be a part of themselves. We also see technology that is fused with their outer bone armor in concept art. It's no secret that cycles are an important part of Mass Effect, given the cycle of extinction in the original trilogy. If the Protheans went to Andromeda in the past, and now humans and other Milky Way races are going to Andromeda, this would harken back to the cyclic nature of Mass Effect. One of the biggest counter-arguments to the Ket-Prothean relation theory is BioWare has stated they wanted distance from the original trilogy, and again, there isn't really too much concrete evidence for the theory, so for now it's a bit unlikely. Another popular theory is the Ket Remnant theory. Original credit for the theory goes to YouTuber HotNotMeh, who I have linked below. According to this theory, the Ket created the Remnant, who are a synthetic race in the Andromeda Galaxy. Much like the Geth and the Quarians, the Remnant eventually came to threaten the Ket, resulting in a war between the Ket and Remnant. The Ket, however, were able to defeat the Remnant, and the Remnant vaults we have seen in the trailers are literal remnants of this synthetic race, sealed away by the Ket. During Mass Effect Andromeda, the Milky Way races discovered these vaults and released the Remnant, resulting in the re-emergence of the Remnant and the Ket viewing the races of the Milky Way as enemies. This theory also sort of fits in with the Ket-Prothean relation theory. Specifically, perhaps the Protheans were forced into a synthesis and became cyborg-like in order to combat and defeat the Remnant. That is, they modified themselves and became the Ket in order to win over the Remnant. Once again, both theories are certainly far from confirmed, but I do believe they have some amount of merit at the very least to them. Alright everyone, that's gonna do it for this Mass Effect Andromeda video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop me a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more Mass Effect and other video game content. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.